Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Entrepreneurship Lab. This is your host, Nevena Bajalets, welcoming you once again to the new episode where we give you a lot of values to support you, your company, your business, and help you take you to the next level. Today, I'm very excited to have a very special guest coming to us all the way from United States, Florida exactly, sunny and nice Florida, and she is a PhD doctor and she is a specialist in communication. And today's topic will be specifically about how you can use communication, which way communication can benefit your business, and why is communication important for you as a leader and authority in your field and someone who is making the difference. So please help me welcome Dr. Julee Hafner. Dr. Julie, I had the privilege working with you, and we're still working on together on different events, speaking on the same stage, coaching people together in programs globally. And I'm very grateful that you took time today to be with us. And I know how much knowledge and expertise you have. So thank you for being here, sharing that with us.
Thank you so much, Nirvana. It's so nice to see you and your beautiful face again. We were lucky enough to share the stage in Dubai, which was such a wonderful event. We talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and we were just very, very excited to do that. And we're going to be repeating that in South Africa. So, for those of you who are listening, I can't wait to meet you, and I'm sure you'll be wanting to meet Nirvana in South Africa. Nirvana, I understand you want to know a little bit about me and my background, so
Yes,
let me do
please
it real.
tell the listeners. I know a lot about you personally,
My
how
it,
wonderful you are, and how big of an expert you are. So, can you tell us a little bit why communication, how you went into it, why you studied in so much depth, and why it's so important?
well, let me give you a real quick background because my background is so long, it would take up the whole half hour plus some to tell you all the things I can do. I am a leadership expert. My expertise is in leadership and in communications. I am a practicing medically trained communication expert. So I really understand communication at the most lowest level or highest level. If you're looking at the brain, that's the highest level. Now, let's talk a little bit about why communication is so important. There are a lot of people out there that think they're great communicators, think they're great speakers, and unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that you all need to up your game because relationship building is essential to developing good communication, and communication is essential in your business success. Most people want to interact with others, they want to get their messages across, and they want to do the things that they need to do to push their business out there. And if you're not a good speaker, even on a one-on-one level, you really are going to be challenged time and time again.
Yes, and absolutely. So everything is communication. Communication is written, right? Verbal communication. There are different ways of communication. And can you tell us? You mentioned why is communication important, but as someone who is an entrepreneur and who is building their business, can you please tell us what are the before we go into some tips? I would love first to know something from your professional eye. What is the most biggest mistake you see people you do in communication when communicating?
Well, again, as an expert in this, one of the things I think is the most largest mistake I think people can make is jumping into the sale before they've established rapport, before they've built a relationship, before they've even determined whether it's a fit for you to do business together. I can't tell you how many groups that I've been at or spoken at or been associated with, and you go in there and everybody wants to sell you something. Oh, please buy my business cards. Please buy this, please. And to me, it just makes me say, I'm not interested in talking to these people. And I take a step back. So, business owners, if you're out there, work on what giving what you are, who you are as a human being, make that relationship, create that bond, get that rapport, and then you're ready to possibly do business. So that would be my biggest mistake, I think.
Yes, I love it. Especially this is very specific for business. And I think it's so important having this. It's even the energy that you bring that I am there to take something for me. And I always say we should focus on giving value when we communicate, when we share expertise, maybe give advice or something. People will then be drawn to us and be like, I want to work with you because you have the knowledge and expertise or the product I need and things like that. So perfect. Can you, Dr. Julie, help us maybe with some steps when we're communicating with someone, a potential prospect, for example, and what are some steps or things we're establishing that relationship, like you said, specifically in communication? What are some things we should pay attention or maybe do first step, second step, third step to become better communicator?
There's a lot of things you can do. The first thing I think that's most important is become aware. Situational awareness is so important. If you see the person, look at them, look at their body language, look at their rate of speech, look at all the things that make them who they are as human beings, and you're going to approach them as a human being, not as a prospect. Let's not get in there and sell. So that's the first thing. The second thing is and become culturally aware. So every culture is so different. In the Japanese culture, which I've been lucky enough to go, have some friends there, done some research projects and things like that. One of the things that they do not do is they do not make direct eye contact. So their eyes are more down. So if you look at them real obviously wide-eyed on, you're going to notice that they're going to shrink back from you. That's very uncomfortable. It's considered very rude. Other cultures have similar things between men and women. The distance between people is important. Like I said, eye contact, the body language. There's certain gestural communications that are so offensive that you don't want to do them. I know Middle Eastern cultures, there's certain body parts you don't want to show or show parts of them in certain profiles. And I won't go into all the details, but you need to be aware of that when you're talking to someone, because when you're speaking to someone, you're entering their space. You're entering their environment. You're entering their culture. And that is so important to start being aware. So that's the first initial step. Do you want me to, I want to ask a question, or do you want me to go on? I'll keep going.
Go on, please.
Okay,
We're taking notes.
just checking in there. And then the next thing, after you understand that, one of the things you want to do is, as you know what the boundaries of the culture are and the distances and things like that, then you want to talk with a person and you want to give and take. Communication is a turn-taking process. It is not all you talking, which is why I stopped what I was saying and I checked in with Nirvana as the host. Was there a follow-up question? Did she want me to go on? And you need to ask that for that permission to keep going. So you can't just monopolize the conversation. You have to give a little and take a little and wait and talk. So that would be the next step for entrepreneurs. And then there's so many other ones. We probably ought to do another whole show on this, Nirvana. But those are two of the, if you can get through that part of it, then they're listening. Okay. And I would say the final, if I can leave it to three, the final thing is, if you are not present and you are not listening to them, they will know it. They will feel it. They can't describe it. They don't know why they don't like you. They don't know why they avoid you. But I can guarantee you that it will be because you are not present, you are not here for them, and you are not listening actively to them. So those three, I think, would be the top three. We'll do the top three today.
I love them. I love them. And I would just continue with the last thing you said, because I noticed a big mistake is that many people talk, and they feel they have to justify when they're, for example, selling or they're on a sale call, and they're doing so much talking. And I always say the closing is done when you listen. You need to ask the right question, listen, because the potential client will tell you everything. They will tell you the objection. They will tell you about money and finances. They will tell you what problem in business is if you can listen. And when they feel listen, they're gonna close easier, because that person will feel, oh, they understand me. And more importantly, we can give them the right answer to their question, the right solution to their problem. So can you help us with some tips? This is important in personal life, but in business, how to become better listeners?
Well, the first thing I was going to say, as we were talking about being present in the moment, one of the things that people as human beings are extremely, extremely fearful about is periods of silence. Periods of silence are there for a purpose. So basically, if you're talking to someone, sometimes, I know it's hard to believe, sometimes it's important to just shut up. Now, that little 2-second silence probably made everybody a little uncomfortable. What's she going to say next? But it also can work to your advantage, because, as Nirvana started to say, that people will tell you things. People want to fill the void. People want that silence to go away. Hence why we spend our time on these little puppies. We sit there and we have to realize that silence can work for us as entrepreneurs. Stop talking, let the person tell you, let the person give you what is bothering them. Their pain points are going to pop right out, or their objections are going to pop right out. So silence is your friend, not your enemy. Plus, internally, as a speaker, when there is someone that is listening, you know that that person is caring enough to be quiet and listen to you. If you're the speaker, you know that you now are turning the turn taking back to that original person, and they get a chance to say something. So they leave feeling like they've won, because they aren't being monopolized. So it's a real give and take, and it's an art of knowing when to talk and when not to talk. And when in doubt, err on the side of not talking so much.
Absolutely. I love all of this. Thank you so much for all the tips. I'm just going to ask the listeners to please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Download the episode, share, tag me and Dr. Julee on all the social media platforms, and tell us how much you like this episode, and share it with someone else so they can benefit as well. And as we continue, Dr. Julee, I want to ask you a little bit more about, as business owners, entrepreneurs, we often have to present things, either our products or services, or speak on the stage. And I always say public speaking is very important to go to the next level in your business and become authority in the field. So if we need to present our company, this can be one-to-one on Zoom, and showing the company and why they should hire us, or we're speaking in front of 500 thousands of people. How can we become better communicators in that presentation mode, or that environment of speaking and presenting?
Well, one of the things that I so love, and as you see the sign and the logo back there, Virtual Strategy Makers is there to help you. It's virtualstrategymakers.com. And also, I have an actual speaking arm, which is my actual name, drjuleehafner.com. If you are interested in looking at how to actually professionally speak, I am a 2-time TEDx talk person. I do conferences, and I'm talking research conferences. So I have the gamut of the expertise to go from the popular to the theoretical. So that's just so you know that what I'm saying is I do know what I'm talking about. Interestingly enough, the most important thing is when you are speaking to a large group, you want to make sure that your speech communication is good. You want to make sure that if you have an accent, nothing wrong with an accent. If you're speaking in English, Make sure that you are speaking in English. It sounds like English because people will not understand you. Volume, voice volume, it can be built. If you are a timid little person like this, you're not going to convey the power and authority that you have in your business. You need that power. So changing your vocal tone, changing your vocal volume, changing a lot of things in your voice itself will help you develop some stage presence. Then there's all the body language things. Again, if you're really into body language, check out the 7 Tactic to Communication Completions. I wrote that all about body language, and there's a workbook that gives you ideas and things like that for it. But most important, it's all about developing stage presence, whether you're talking to one person or 1,000 people. Okay, it doesn't matter, because your presence, you need to be who you are, be authentic, and not change yourself, but you also need to use all those speech power skills that I call them. So that's I would say
Yes.
those are the important things to do.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, you do that for a living. So this was like one tip. Thank you. You're putting like
One tip, Nevada.
yes, years of experience and something that has to be built with experience as well. And it's really something that's a skill we can learn, and you are successfully teaching people on that. So thank you for giving us, at least a piece of it in a couple of minutes. I know it's hard sometimes to summon things. I really appreciate it. So, Dr. Julee, can you tell us a little bit more as we are wrapping soon the episode, a little bit more about your work and how you can help our listeners? We're going to put a link and a contact to you so they can connect with you on LinkedIn and go to your website. But also, yes, tell us a little bit more about your work, what you're doing. You have a lot of entities and companies. And secondly, as a end, I would love for us to end with some more tips from you and your experience on communication.
Okay, sure. Uh, Currently, some of my projects are I'm working on some advanced training on NET and some anxiety training, because a lot of public speakers do have any difficulties with getting up on the stage or getting out in the community to speak, even to 5 people. They're afraid. This is a new thing that is happening as a result of being sequestered, if you will, the last couple of years, and people are afraid now to talk to other people. So I'm working on those projects, and again, I will be in South Africa. I will be in a couple of other places. So I'm trying to get everything organized right now. So you caught me in a bad moment. Other than that, a couple more tips. Let's see. I think one of the biggest things is looking at how you stand, because how you stand, how you hold your head, those are important things. I obviously, you can't see me from the waist down, actually mostly the chest down, but how I hold my hands. If I stand, and this is something people tend to do, they stand like this. I'll do it a little up from the camera so you can see it. They stand like this. This is a very closed stance, and it means I'm not willing to listen. I'm not accepting. And unfortunately for me, I'm cold. But to add a little humor in there. So make sure that the situation, again, that's it, situational awareness, being aware of what's going on. If it's 22 below in the room and the person's doing this, they're probably not trying to get upset or diss you. If you are speaking in general, check where your hands are. A lot of people keep them down at their sides and they look like little stone figures. You need to be open. You need to look where your hands are going and how much your hands are going. Because if they're going like this, you've distracted from your message. If your posture is very poor, like this, you're not getting oxygen into your body. You're not able to project. Plus, you look like you're very inferior. So all of those things in terms of how you stand are so important to entrepreneurs. And let me tell you this, for all of you out there, practice these skills when you go to your work, practice these skills when you go to a meeting, because when you get on stage or you have a Zoom call, you are already there. This is who you are, and you want to be authentic. So this is how you want to act, think, dress, present yourself as a human being. So make sure you just show up and do the right thing.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Julie. I am really appreciating your time and all the knowledge and expertise you gave us. I'm sure you, all of you listening and watching, are enjoying this. Make sure to connect with Dr. Julie. Tag us in your stories on social media, in your posts. Tell us what is one thing that you like the most. And we are excited to hear your feedback. Download the episode, subscribe to the podcast, give us some likes and hearts. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. Julie. And for all the listeners, I will see you in the next episode.